This is how you train like a strongman.
I vision my family under a log or under a stone, and if I don't lift up, then they're dead, and it's all on me.
Right then. Oh, get the robe off. It's about 8:15 in the morning and I'm about to go for a cold water dip. 5 minutes if it's really cold, up to like 25, 30 minutes sometimes if I need it. So usually I wake up around kind of 6:30 to 7. I wake up, have a glass of water, I take vitamins and minerals when I first wake up. Then I have a cup of black coffee. Initially I wore Speedos because I've got like a low self-confidence in myself, and I thought, right, stuff it, I'm gonna just put on a pair of Speedos and see how I feel. And I felt really bad. I thought, right, I'm just gonna carry on doing that and try and like be more comfortable in my own skin. That mental resilience, if I can go in just with a pair of Speedos on into the cold water and come out okay, then I know my body's good to go for that day. It's quite mild today. I think it's about 7, 8 degrees. We need inflammation for muscles to grow, but then if that inflammation stays with us for a set amount of time, that's detrimental to our bodies. So if I can come in here, especially in the morning, reduce that inflammation down, I'm then good to go for training.
I'm not like Luke where I can do 30, 40 minutes in the sea and I'd get hypothermia if I did that. But yeah, I usually get up about 7 a.m. So this is the only ice tub in the world that forms ice. So it'll be about 0.5 degrees. There's nowhere to hide. You've got ice coming around you. Claustrophobic for 2-3 minutes, freezing, and the endorphin rush I get after this is like nothing else. For me, I just think this is more beneficial. People with autism and ADHD, with endorphins, it's so much harder to increase endorphins naturally. So when I do an ice tub, my endorphin increase is so much more intense than when I go to the sea. 2-3 minutes is my limit, and that's where I benefit the most, and that's where my recovery helps. Anything more than that, it's just more shaky and hyperthermia kicks in, and you're going to be doing the reverse as what it's meant to do to you. Whatever meal I want to eat before the gym is, I make it as dirty as I can. 1,750 calories, 80 grams of protein. One in the morning, one at night. One of these are like 1,200 calories each. So this helps me get 8,000 calories. 2 avocados, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 wee cup of oats, 1 banana, 2 whey proteins, and 2 cups of milk. They might have peanut butter, not peanut butter, because my wife's allergic to peanut butter. So. We tend not to count like macros when we do it. I know some guys do, some athletes do, but it's more like a calorie-based kind of diet that we do. So it is heavily protein-based. So our meat sources, so like I'll have 300 grams of meat and 250 grams of rice. So it's majority of it is a protein source. You need that carbohydrate as well to kind of fuel those sessions. If you're looking to build muscle, predominantly the protein is where it comes from, and then combine that with your carbohydrate, and that gives you the fuel to really kind of go through those heavy workouts. What's easy with? When you're walking into a warehouse and you see Atlas stones, you see these big massive logs. It's not like you're going into a gym and you see mirrors and you see dumbbells. That's all right, that stuff's interesting, but when you see all the other stuff, you're like, this is, you know, it's like a kid in a candy shop. I'm doing log press, and then after log I'm going to do one-arm dumbbells, and then I'm going to press a stone above my head. They're going to be individual each one, and then I'm going to do one big medley, so it'll be stone, dumbbell, log, all after each other. I vision my family under a log or under a stone, and if I don't lift up, then they're dead, and it's all on me. Very scary and very weird way of thinking, but it's how it motivates me to do good in those certain events. So yeah, it's hard to go to a dark place because I'm never ever like that. I'm usually positive and stuff. So after I go that, it takes a lot of energy for me to get back to kind of normal Tom, if that makes sense. This is my prep for Britain's Strongest Man. So I've got log press, and then after that I'll be doing Atlas stones, and then we'll go back to the gym and do some stuff in the gym. I think you have to be crazy to do any sport like to a professional level. I think you have to have that lacking in something. I don't know what it is, but if there's like insecurities, ego issues, addiction issues, traumas that you're trying to escape from, you know, demons, you have to have something to really like delve in, and because it's pain, you're going through pain all the time, so you have to have that enjoyment of putting your body through that pain threshold. Heavy days I'll take pre-workouts, and then on normal kind of gym days I won't take anything, maybe just a coffee in the morning, and try and just get that kind of natural high and not rely on pre-workouts and energy drinks, because You can't take them every day because they're bad for your eyes.
A bit of back support. So when we're pressing, you kind of almost push your hips forward. So you're just wanting that little bit extra support. And that's where the belt comes in quite handy.
Olympic lifters. So for me, that's good. They've got a solid and a raised heel. So I only use these for pressing events. Size 17 feet for my frame, perfect, and the balance is perfect as well.
So the chalk stops you from sweating as much, so you can put your hands on. So we've got liquid chalk, and then this dry chalk. So it helps it stick. So like the metal log or the wooden log, it'll just help stick to your t-shirt a little bit more. And stop you from sweating as much.
Me having autism, visualization is one of the most important things. I didn't really learn too much about it until I spoke to like a clinical psychologist, and they said to me, visualization will be your cheat code to be winning competitions. Just stand in front of whatever I'm lifting and I go through the lift without moving. In my head I'm going through the whole lift, 5 or 6 big breaths, 5 or 6 visualizing how I'm doing it, and then I just go straight into it. It's like a robot, and it's very powerful. One arm dumbbell press. Really important just to press straight up. Well, because the judges with this, you have to lock it out for like half a second and then go down. But yeah, 2 arms from here, it's balanced right behind your ear, and it's just about dipping and pressing. Important to keep your body as upright as you can and press upwards. For me, before Strongman, I never ever wanted to do Strongman. I only wanted to play football. All they wanted to do was play football, so I felt like a normal kid. But then, as I got 12, 13 years old, I was in the academy, dropped out the academy at like 14 years old. 15, tried to get jobs, couldn't get jobs, just got bullied, couldn't stay over at my friend's house, couldn't go places without my mum and dad, couldn't do any of the kind of normal things that you would do when you're 14, 15 years old, and I started going like into the kind of depression. So I locked myself in my room for like 6 months, and all I did with mum and dad would just pass me food through my door, so it was like a jail cell. And then just as I turned 16, my brother knocked on my door and said, let's go to the gym.
So the pick up is probably the easiest part, but when you sit down, you're pulling it in tight. It's called the clean. So you want your hips to come forward quite strongly, and you want it to be as effortless as you can up until your chest. So that's the racked position. So you want your racked position from your waist to the racked position to be effortless. So it's like almost anti-gravity. You're just throwing it up and it's there. And then your elbows want to be quite high. And then you'll see Tom and I are quite different in how we press. So I'm quite explosive in my legs. I get quite a lot of pop. So I utilise my legs quite a lot. So for that movement, you kind of catch it overhead, and then the lockout's got to be good. So you want to have it controlled for like a split second. So if you're here kind of wobbling, it's not a good rep, but if you pop it for a wee second and then down. So that's the basics of pressing a log above your head.
This is one of the most important tools in the bag, this 100% is. Yeah, very good for keeping everything stabilised. It can increase your strength, endurance, it increases everything. Stops you obviously biting down on your teeth as well, so it protects your teeth. But yeah. Hold your breath here. Yeah, so when you're pushing up there, if you do it here, your elbows will fall forward and you'll lose all that kind of air in your midsection. So if I'm like, I'll just drop, or I'll press that way instead of that way.
I wanted to have like the 6-pack, I want to have like biceps and a big chest, and that's all I wanted back then, you know. It was just, because again, that was like masking the insecurity, you know, of me as like a little boy basically from a small town in the Highlands, allowing myself to be something that, you know, that other people can maybe take something from. You know, when I'm competing, they want to see this performer, they want to see this man mounting, pounding his chest and shouting and screaming and celebrating, and it is a celebration for me when I do compete. But that's why I'm doing the therapy, that's why I'm trying to do these men's groups, is finding out why I'm this like messy person out with my, you know, when that mask comes on, it's okay, you can pretend for a certain while, but then when you strip it back, you're like, why am I so anxious? Why am I so nervous about, you know, me as a person? And that's where the real work comes in.
This is natural stone. So the first part of the lift is kind of like you're lifting the stone along. You have to find a bit where you can grip the stone up onto your knees, and then you kind of see how I did. I didn't need to chest like I would press a log or stone, and then at the top, you can't rush it. You need to find that balance point. You can see my arms were in, and then I put my hands out, and then it's just about balancing it up above your head. And this is 110 Competition will be like 125, 130s. All the natural stones are just out in the quarries or out wherever we can find them.
This is something a bit different that I started doing last year. I said I sweat quite a lot, so it's just like a sticky substance. I'm going to be doing these stones and we apply like a resin, like it's like basically leg wax that sticks to you. But I put tape. This is zinc oxide tape, which is like sweat proof, so it's supposed to be pretty good to stick onto your skin. So this tape just helps create a barrier between the skin, the sweaty skin, and the stone. Now this is all like mimic whatever we can do in competitions. So ideally I wouldn't want to use this. I just sweat that little bit more than Tom, so it's like a triple layer. So spray, tape, spray, then tacky. This is horrible. I think Mum kind of ingrained that into us, you know, rather than saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. Mum hated it when I said that when I was younger. If I make excuses about not doing something just because it's tough, then I'm not doing her like a good service.
My mum passed away in 2016 and I made a promise that I put on social media saying like Tom Stoltman would be the finalist in 2020, win World Strongest Man 21 and win World Strongest Man in 2022. You know, I'm an autistic kid and I've just beaten 30 of 29 of the strongest men in the world with autism, and these guys have nothing wrong with them. They're just normal kind of day-to-day dads, guys, and I was on there and I was like, well, autism is a superpower, it's not a disability, it's nothing that, you know, you get these hurdles, you get these labels, you get people saying, I had teachers saying you're not going to be anything in your life, I had mates that dropped away from me because of autism, so to be able to stand there and kind of be like, you know, well, I'm the king of the world and I've got this autism. And then the day after that, I wrote Autism is a Superpower, and yeah, it's just stuck ever since. I think it's 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. That last one I did was 180 kilo one motion, which is, you know, a reasonable one motion. So the Atlas stones, you want to be really explosive off the ground, so you got to really kind of commit early on in the lift. So when you go down, you pick it up and you really want to explode off the ground. It's probably not recommended. You're not meant to, but it's the most effective way to get it off. We've tried baby oil, we've tried everything, but...
It'd be like in 20 years' time, anyone that used like paint thinner has got like some new disease and... Oh,
just for a good time, not a long time.
I'd be happy to be here in 20 years, that'd be nice. Jeez, that'd be a good age.
Every single day for me is interesting because I'm always hitting new goals, I'm always trying to push my body all the time, and yeah, I just love every single workout I do, but I think if anyone likes legs day, then they're not screwed in the head right.
Nice. Nice and steady. Good. Good. Come on, Tommy. Come on, big punch. Nice. Easy.
A press medley, 110 natural stone, 104 kilogram dumbbell, and 165 log. Competition's 195, so some work to do. What's my wedding song?
Thinking Out Loud.
Thinking Out Loud, okay. But I prefer Taylor Swift. So. I learned to kind of use music as a really good energy source and a really good, like, for positive, like, kind of energy. And I don't listen to any of like the kind of rap stuff or any classics. It's more like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, all that. Like, I've seen all them live, and like that's what me and her do. Is when we get like on a morning of World Strongest Man or whatever, she'll put on every single kind of music that like Taylor Swift on, and we just dance around for 20-30 minutes. Accessory work builds up the stabilizing muscles, just helps those wee muscles that you don't really get. They don't get hit when you're doing all the kind of event stuff. Like the rows and stuff as well, just very important. Just as important as the compound movements as well. Tricep extensions are good for doing the log press and stuff, because it's the same kind of movement as we're doing with log pressing back over the head, so it's very important. 2. assault bikes. 10 seconds, 50 seconds rest, 10 seconds, 50 seconds. 10 seconds as fast as I can, rest for 50, do that 3 times. Sounds a lot of rest, but it's not much at all when you're exerting 100% energy. So yeah, these are absolutely brutal machine, and that's why not many people use them, but I hate them, but job's done, and it helps me keep fit and keep my condition up. Oh. The difference with us is we're strongmen, not like bodybuilders, so we don't need to look good for performance. So our food, the food we eat is for fuel for the workouts we're doing. So obviously, like an event session for us is like 2-3 hours long. So like, you know, bodybuilders for the gym will eat chicken and rice, but I'll eat a burger and chips because it fast acting carbs. It lasts longer in my system as well, and it just keeps me full for longer as well. A burger and chips fills me up more than, and it's easier to eat. Like chicken and rice will take so long to eat and digest as well. But yeah, so that's what dirty food is. So when we say dirty food, it's burger and chips or like a cheat meal. I usually have a cheat meal every day before the gym. That's my cheat meal, is whatever meal I want to eat before the gym is, I make it as dirty as I can. Before the gym I'll have a bowl of cereal, again with that fast acting carbs, just to kind of spike the sugars. On the weekends we sometimes get like cheat meals, so you can have whatever you want. If you want a pizza, you can have a pizza. If you want a Chinese, you can have it, or an Indian, or whatever it is. So that kind of subdues the cravings a little bit from eating just kind of bland food. Because again, if you're eating, what we found before is like we used to eat a lot more like sweet stuff. So if you're hitting a lot of sugars, like your inflammation in your joints and stuff, your inflammation markers will go up in your blood count. So the less sugar you can eat, the less inflammation will can occur in your body. So it's so tasty, but it's so bad for you at the same time. It's really bad. It's like a bit of a contradiction, because you have sugars when you're competing, but like in day-to-day life you try and minimise them as much as you can. So like longevity, it's best not to have as much sugars as you can, or lessen those sugars. But during competition you sometimes need them if you're crashing a little bit, if you need a bit of a boost of energy. So water's important, but I think electrolytes in water is more important for us. I think try and get at least 3 litres. I think with the sport we do as well, the amount we sweat, you lose so much salt. That's when cramping comes in and stuff as well. So water by itself is good, but every single morning I have electrolytes in my water, and then I'll top it up again before the gym.
How's that feeling?
I'm so over the top with recovery, and I think that's why I'm top of the sport. Sports physio, acupuncture, the more movement I can get in, the quicker my pains go.
So this is the Theragun that we're using. It's got infrared LED light therapy in it, so it just helps to heat up the muscle tissue and just allows me to do a lot more deeper work into the muscles a lot quicker than if I was just to use my hands. I've also got the blades that you'll see behind me, so it's instrument assisted soft tissue, so it's really good. They're made of steel, so it just helps me get an extra wee bit of force when I'm trying to do some like soft tissue release with him. Tom comes in almost weekly now. We're kind of at a stage where it's more so like maintenance. Definitely more muscle tissue than your average client.
Sleep for me is the #1 recovery tool that you need to kind of do strongman or whatever sport you're doing. For me to function, I need about 5 hours, but half of that needs to be deep sleep. So I've started sleeping with a CPAP machine. I need to make sure my HRV is perfect every single morning, and then I know that I've got that perfect kind of sleep. Blinds in my room, so it's blacked out. I make sure I'm not on my phone when I go to bed. If my sleep is right, then I know my day is going to be fine.
Targeted areas of tightness. You put the cups on, it's lifting the skin away from the muscle tissue. So what it's doing is it's separating the layers of the tissue. So the fascia is coming away from the muscle, and it's allowing the muscle to relax, but also creating space in the tissue so the extra blood flow can get in. You can see that with the changing colour there of the skin. It helps to physically like draw out the toxins that's in the tissue, and you'll see areas that's got more tension and more inflammation are darker, so rather than actual bruises, it is a sign of the toxins. The better your hydration is, your diet, things like that, the quicker that the colour fades out. So for your average person, it tends to be up to 4 to 10 days before the colour disappears. But with Tom, you'll notice when I take them off, the colour fades almost immediately.
Sitting in my pants after the sauna. Jesus. What is life, huh? I like a really hot sauna for 20 minutes. The hotter you can get, the more excruciating it becomes. Every day after training helps with the joints, and if you can do, I think it's like 3 saunas for 20 minutes a week, it really helps with your life expectancy. So probably midnight, going to sleep, and then up up about 6. It was a good day training, decent day all in all for a Monday, so I can't complain.